Hi and welcome to our new game. I'm Bjorn, the lead designer from Nordhorn Studio, and I'd like to show you our upcoming title, Once Upon a Tile. Once Upon a Tile is a strategic dungeon crawler where you don't play the character you're playing, but you're building the dungeon and thus moving them. So I will quickly run you through a simple game. Please keep in mind that this is all alpha footage, and there's still a couple of bugs, display bugs, etc. So basically you have a couple of quest selections which determine which goal you have. We're going to select the second quest, which is quite easy but still a little bit challenging. Let's see if we can do it on the first try. And our goal is to get 5 magic, 10 martial prowess and 5 treasures before we reach the end of the dungeon. So we're starting a single room, and you can see our hand down here, which means we can determine what kind of rooms we get to place. The symbols here on the things indicate the hexes that we see. So this is a character, the main character, and I can't move him. I can only move him by placing the dungeon. If I place the dungeon correctly, using any bridge I choose, the character will move to the closest hex on the dungeon, collecting all or interacting with all the hexes along the path. So we're starting with selective trigger room. Let's go for this. So this means it's very simple. It builds a dungeon and then it moves to this room. Now, if we want to collect this martial icon, which brings us closer to our goal, we have to get the character to move there. Well, thankfully, this is a rather easy dungeon, so we can do it this way. There we go. So this bridge probably can't be used anymore, so we're not going to go to that treasure. Thankfully, also here in the middle, there's a big monster. Monster requires 10 strength or 10 martial to defeat. We don't have this yet, but thankfully we can easily outmaneuver it because we placed this very cleverly. It's one of the goals, so let's go ahead. There we get another 2 martial. And now we can trick around a little bit, because we're not only using we can not only put the new card on the room which is created, we can put the new card anywhere. So first of all, we're going to get these 2 magic, which brings us slightly closer to the goal. And now we want this 1 martial. Instead of this 1 health, we don't need health to survive. We still have 3. That's good enough. We lose health when you travel over monsters that you are too weak to defeat. Thankfully, this monster here has a strength of 3. We already have, once we move over there, we have 5 martial, which means this is easily defeated and does not cost us any health. So we got the 10 martial. We are getting close at least to the magic. If we pick this up here, we get a nice boost for martial, and we are now complete with the magic stuff. So we're only needing 2 more power. Here we go. We find this here. Oh no, we can't place it here because you cannot overlap tiles. But that's not a problem. We have enough space over here. There. Our little mouse adventurer is traveling all the way, collects the health along the way, which is nice. Because this here is a trap. Traps are not removed. Traps will always deal 1 point of damage when you move over them, which makes this tile kind of tricky. But let's see if we actually need this. So what are we missing? We're missing still a lot of treasure. Let's go with this one here. We are going to need it at the very end. And I can tell you later why. So we don't really care about the treasure along the way. Well, we moved over the trap, but we have enough life. That's fine. We still have 9 spaces left to get all the treasures we need. That is something that's definitely doable. So there's 1 treasure. There we go. There's another point of treasure. So these 2 grayed out cards are the ones I know I will draw next. This character here, because we're going to have several characters, has a hand size of 3 and a perception of another 2. We do have already in the demo version that we're showing one other character tied to another quest, which shifts us around. So you know a lot, but you can't choose so much. But we're not going to need this. So a little bit more martial. We don't need any more because we can already defeat all the most powerful monsters. We need treasure. This was important so that we can now move over here. That monster is defeated, so it disappears and it will never bother us again, even if something happens that makes us lose the martial stud. We are still very, very low on treasure though, but we do have a little bit of time. So, a little bit of time, yeah, let's kill this monster here. Later quests will also require you to kill a certain amount of monsters, so this, again, is very easy and just for introduction and showing you around. I really don't want to walk over this trap, but we might end up having to, because we are slightly running out of space here. Well, we can go over here. There we go. This opens up a whole new set. Are we going to run over any traps? We do this? No, this is fine. There, it's a very long way. And we managed to collect a little bit more martial. All right, so, but we need treasure. So we need to go this way. There we go. Yeah, we're going to run over the trap, which is fine. We still have enough health left. There, took 1 point of damage. And there is another 2 treasure. Now it's a martial. So where was this one treasure bit we had? Over here is one. There we go. So that's another. That's all the treasure we need, which is great. So the last tile here is the dungeon exit. We just have to make sure that we're going to get there. So I'm not just placing things that don't hurt us very much. Ideally, you know, just walking around, enjoying the scenery of the dungeon. Oh, well, there's another trap. We are enjoying that. That's hit us the second time, which is fine. So now we're placing this dungeon tile here right in the middle, which makes us move over this +2 treasure, which means we should be able to fulfill this quest. Here we go. I won. That's the brief overview of Once Upon a Tile, of how Once Upon a Tile is played. This is a very, very early alpha. We expect to have a more feature-rich version once we are at Gamescom, so please do check us out, follow us along our social media, subscribe to this channel, follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and do please wishlist the game on Steam if you like what you see. Thank you very much, and see you soon in a dungeon of your choice.